Next video is, dude, we're changing gears severely and going to some episodes of Rashad Richey's Undisputable show. This is going to be some longer plays. So, yeah. Let's, I hear my mouth. Get right into it.
Percent of the population even knows about. It doesn't involve any type of oral hygiene products, prescription medications, or expensive procedures.
What?
In fact, you never even have to step foot into a dentist office, as this method is something you can do from home.
What?
The crazy part is that it only takes a few seconds to do, and it starts restoring years of damaged receding gums.
Renew teeth, everybody. Let's renew.
Ladies and gentlemen,
can we just give it up for renew teeth? Either way, here it is, Rashad Richey. This is, which one is this one? Oh my God, this is actually perfect because this is talking about teeth stuff. I wonder if that's why it fucking popped up, that particular ad, dude. Oh my God.
Gentlemen, welcome to the bullpen.
Okay.
In the bullpen today, we have Jacob Rich, policy analyst, Reason Foundation, PhD candidate, Case Western Reserve School of Medicine and Cleveland Clinic. Good day, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back, Dr. Richey. How you doing?
Hey, man, glad to have you.
Oh, God, this is, I remember seeing this one. This is about to be fucking ridiculous.
Presume what you believe and know about that particular topic. So if you would, brother, give us your sentiment as it relates to mask and or vaccine mandates and protocol in America.
Sure. So I want to begin by commending you on a point that I think we agree on. I watched your previous episodes and saw that
his cam is dog shit, just so y'all know.
The idea of treating previous COVID infection as synonymous with vaccination. And according to the data,
you can tell the fucking difference of cam between Rashad and fucking him.
COVID-19 than the vaccine. So I'm glad that you've been reading the science. I don't expect anything less of you, so very good that we probably agree on that point. But going from that point forward, I'm thinking about what the implications of vaccine mandates are currently, given the waning efficacy of the vaccine. So if you look at the data, if 100% of the population gets vaccinated, assume everyone delaying for political reasons or religious reasons or whatever, if 100% get vaccinated, we still do not reach herd immunity. And we still have COVID-19 in front of us. So with such a low standard of efficacy after 100% vaccination, the idea that we cannot reach herd immunity afterwards, why are we allowing pharmaceutical companies to potentially bribe and lobby politicians to get their vaccines mandatory in the future? Sure. With such a low
I don't see much difference on my end between those two, realistically.
I could see the flu vaccine being mandatory, and that's not a future I want. So that's what's going through my head at the moment.
Okay, all right, we'll deal with that, and then we'll get into the mask mandates. I understand your point of view as relates to herd immunity because we exist in a global context. The idea on the science side that promotes herd immunity is that you are able to slow or eliminate the variant dynamic if you can get to a place of herd immunity and you can get through this and it's just a pandemic that you overcame rather than it becoming endemic, as some would suggest. So let me push back a little bit on that. I do believe that you can reach herd immunity through a maximum number of Americans vaccinated, not just because of the vaccinations, but when you look at some of the social scientists who have weighed in on this along with the medical data, it's also about America leading the world. It's about America being able to lead the conscience of other nations to develop similar protocols in order to get us to a place of actual herd immunity.
He's spitting facts. Straight up.
And even when other countries would not implement.
The good doctor spits facts almost every time. No joke.
Things like polio mandates or tetanus mandates. When we then influenced the rest of the global industrialized and developing nation context. Because after that, we said in order to travel here, in order to do business here, in order to have companies here, in order for us to do business there, these are some of the mandated protocols. And we've had these protocols on the books for many years. So I understand your point of view. That's just the other point of view. The issue of mask mandates, it's really interesting to me. Because to me, it's a very similar argument as the vaccine mandates for most. Now, you make a different argument, and I actually think your argument has a little more intellectual integrity than the argument of it's a violation of civil liberty. That's not the argument you're making. Because if it's an argument of civil liberty, my complete pushback is that we have mandated vaccines in America everywhere.
Exactly.
We've always had
this
mandated
guy's
vaccines
argument
in the
gets
United States
this
of America. I'm
the
sure
dude on the left's
you have
argument
mandated
gets
vaccines in your
wackier and
body right now,
wackier as the time goes.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. And we never felt that it was a violation of civil liberty, or at least that was not the common narrative as it relates to those vaccine mandates. But let's talk about mask mandates. Do you really have a problem with a mask mandate? And after we chop that up, we'll go back to the vaccine protocol.
Well, I'm just not exactly sure what the mask mandate is trying to
It kind of looks like a friend of
accomplish.
mine
If we're at a
locally.
position
It's
where
hilarious, actually.
we only reach herd immunity through infection, maybe we could have mask mandates in place until our young people, and I think this is mostly a school conversation, maybe we could have mask mandates in place until they're vaccinated and we reduce their rate of hospitalization. But that seems to be the only strategy forward. I think that this pandemic really only comes to an end after everyone gets infected because of the Delta variant and the waning efficacy of the vaccine. So are we just delaying until they're vaccinated? Is that the idea? Masks certainly work. They remove the amount of moisture in the air, and this virus travels on that moisture. I know someone came onto your program and was discussing how small the virus is and how
Right, but that's outside of
Yeah.
That's outside of the moisture context, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I saw that. I understand that's ridiculous.
Right.
While we implement the strategy forward, we do have to acknowledge that there are some negative consequences of masks, and mostly it's actually dental.
Now, see here,
And
this
we
is
don't
when
have
it gets
good data on
ridiculous.
this.
You're
I
gonna
really
see
was
this.
searching
Oh
for
my
the data
god.
before I came on the show, so I could share it with you. But the most up-to-date data are 2019.
He's about to go crazy on us. Just so you guys know, he's about to go fucking nuclear.
But there are anecdotes of massive increases in various dental issues. And there is a condition called mask mouth that affects people who are in the employment. And if we're going to be risking the dental health of our young people in order to try to...
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
delay when they inevitably face the virus, I'm just not quite sure what the cost-benefit analysis of this is.
All right, so let's do the analysis, man. You're an analyst.
Right, before the doctor speaks, he's basically saying, like, I don't know if wearing a mask is really worth getting slightly worse breath or something. I don't know if it's really worth the potential of, like, I don't know if it's really that effective. Like, oh my god, dude, like your teeth aren't getting that much worse. Your breath isn't getting that much worse because you wear a mask. Plus, if you wear a mask after you've actually brushed your teeth or cleaned your mouth, I very much highly doubt that's really going to be much of a goddamn factor. Prolonged usage potentially, but such a small rate of degree, and plus you're getting vaccinated, which is way the chance of you getting the virus after getting vaccinated decreases astronomically, and so does even if you get it, the symptoms of it. So, like, honestly, all of that benefit would certainly outweigh whatever benefit of the mask, whatever shit that this guy on the left is talking about the mask being bad for your teeth. You could rot your teeth. So what is he, Dr. Teeth? You seen the Muppets? Just do Dr. Teeth, bro.
Guy, right? So the first thing you
actually he's not. Dr. Teeth had bad teeth, I think. That you can't control, gold tooth.
So we do understand that masks generally are safe. They are safe. Now, if you have to wear them every day, there will be some adverse effects to some people, not the majority. Now, here's the thing.
There you go. See, it's already like, what I mean? Like, exactly.
That for everything that can help us to a certain population segment, it can harm them.
Right.
Seatbelts, like it or not, kill a certain
He's
number
taking
of
it at face value to even
because
destroy
they
the
had
argument from a
on
different
the
perspective,
seatbelt. For
too.
some,
So
they had it on improperly, and they died because of the seatbelt. Well, we don't ban seatbelts. We still say, listen, the overwhelming data suggests and says, and is in fact true, that wearing a seatbelt saves way more lives than it will ever extinguish, right? And so we look at it from that context. Also, looking at the mask issue, well, the data is still coming in. We don't see severe side effects from the mask, at least not in what we would know as a statistical significance. But we do know that if you do not wear a mask, you get what's happening in Jackson County, Mississippi, where the superintendent has decided to eliminate all CDC protocols, and his COVID positive rate for school-aged children under his leadership is damn near 10%. It's almost 10%. Unheard of. Way past the national average, way past the average of even adults. He has a 10% COVID positivity rate among students because he eliminated masks. All right? And a teacher has already died of COVID-19. So we know what it looks like when you eliminate masks. And let's talk about the mandate of masks. Masks are able to be mandated by the school boards, if we're talking about the school context. Over 60% of citizens in America, parents, are for it. The majority of parents are for it. The majority of tax-paying individuals in that community are for the local school board having the ability to make a mask mandate requirement. And we know it does actually decrease the spread of COVID-19. But look at it statutorily. The school system has the legal authority by statute, which is derived actually from the 10th Amendment of the Constitution.
Right.
To
constitutionality.
Certain laws and prerequisites. For example, your regimen to be vaccinated comes from the school board. That's school board law. So you mean to tell me that the school board has the authority to mandate a needle being put in a child's arm, but they don't have the authority to tell a child to wear a mask? They have the authority to say these are
honestly, though,
required to enter this campus, but they don't have the authority.
It's for the greater good of public safety compared to teeth quality and
like
oh my god, like the 0.0001%, your teeth will get worse.
Of any rule
Stupid as fuck.
Right.
Well, I never made the point to disagree with any of that. But there are a couple
no,
his
point was stupider than all that.
First off, the example you gave is an anecdote.
More stupid.
Quite possibly the resistance to wear a mask in that school is why this is happening. But I would need a much larger data set before I make that sort of conclusion. I can give anecdotes of places with no mask where there's not a problem, and that's why we always turn to the data. Given the powers that school boards have,
the powers of being,
what local jurisdictions have over their students and parents and whatnot.
Oh, fight the power!
I mean, we could talk about that.
Oh god, now I got that song stuck in my head.
That's really not my concern. My concern isn't really what the opinion is. It's about what's going to be effective. And back to your seatbelt example. The number of people who die from seatbelts a year compared to the amount of people who die on the road is statistically zero.
So
here
we go. Now we're going to.
It is less than 1%.
Here we go, dude. We're going to the seatbelt. We're going to the seatbelt argument. Here we are. Strap in. Literally, buckle up.
But I can make the same argument.
Buckle up.
How many children have died of masks?
I assume it's probably less than seatbelts.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about deaths from masks. I'm talking about dental cavities.
Here he goes. Here we go, dude.
Like when stuff comes out of your mouth, that's
here we
go. Getting rid of gross stuff. And if you are in school 8-9 hours a day, and maybe they're going to make the athletic kids wear a mask. It probably depends district to district.
Do we have any clinical data on that as of yet?
No, and plus that's not going to. Oh my god, dude. No, it's not. No, it's not. To any reason, to any reasonable person, that is not a fucking concern. To this whack job, it's a concern because he doesn't give a fuck about anyone else's well-being. But boy, by golly, I never brush my teeth in the morning, and I gotta smell it for this long. Maybe you should fucking brush your teeth, dude. He's bitching about dental hygiene being more higher priority, which is like I said, it's gonna affect 0.00001. It's gonna decay your teeth, quote unquote, more and make your breath worse, quote unquote, more by like such a fractional percentage compared to the benefits of the vaccine. It's just so, it's mind-numbingly stupid, dude. It's fucking retarded, honestly.
You're concerned. I
thought I've heard all the arguments before. I mean, I've heard this mask argument before, like, oh, it makes it harder to breathe. I mean, that one's a better argument than the fucking dental hygiene, even though that one's still like, not really. Like maybe if you have severe asthma or something, but all these people like to milk it and like, oh my god, hard to breathe. You know how it is. You know all the Karens. I live in a town full of them.
Something that has not been clinically proven, or the clinically proven dynamic of a kid getting COVID and having respiratory issues forever, possibly hospitalized, and also infecting their family, their grandparents, their parents, etc. Which one is the heavier weight here?
Well, I would say that we put the COVID lockdowns in place before we had many clinically proven conclusions which we learned
we were right.
They were right. They were based on science. No. Those were based on scientific things of the past. There's a precedent for those behaviors. There's a precedent in all these behaviors that we have taken as far as the COVID pandemic is concerned. It's a new pandemic. It's a new type of thing technically, but we have taken past examples of things similar to try to it's all based upon past things, or at least based on current science. It's either based upon past action and modern science, the nice coupling of both, realistically.
Potential danger, and we understand the science.
It's like nature and nurture, if you will. Then the nature, I guess, would be the science part of it, and then nurture would be the I guess more legislative actions that they take to try to prevent its spread.
You understand what happens.
It all makes sense to me and to people who have a fucking iota
how much higher
of brain thought
they have of tooth decay. It's the potential tooth decay of the entire child population to save how many child lives.
Man, let me ask you, Jacob, are you really making the argument, brother, that some unproven claim, absolutely no scientific or clinical basis for the claim, should be a reason that we hesitate or stop children from wearing masks in zones or school districts that have deemed it to be necessary based on the COVID positive rate in that local jurisdiction?
Oh, hunt a killer. There's a lot of people that have this as a advertiser.
There is definitely scientific evidence that this can happen. I just don't have the data because the CDC
there's
doesn't
evidence.
publish the data.
There's scant evidence, and the evidence isn't going to say that it's better than the getting the vaccine. Guarantee that.
Records, various dense.
So you are making that argument that the dental issue is the issue for you.
It's not the only issue. It's
yes,
one of
he
many
is.
issues that can
He's
come
making
from
it
covering
as the
people's
big
mouths.
issue, though. It's his biggest issue.
What comes from not covering their mouths? What happens?
COVID.
Exactly. Which one is worse?
It depends.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I mean, you have a 5% hospitalization rate among the entire population for COVID, right? And for children, it's much less. So it's how many children
Big brain,
do we save
big brain
by
thing.
covering their mouths until we get them vaccinated
Big
versus
brain.
potential population effects of tooth decay and other things that could happen from this.
You know, I got to say, Jacob, listen, man, you're a smart guy, but I don't feel you on this argument because
I don't either, brother.
There is no clinical study
It's ridiculous.
to suggest this is
Absolutely
a
asinine
reality for young people. Two, if you do find that there
Absolutely
is something to this maybe a
asinine.
year down the road, I would argue the numbers. I'm sure the numbers are going to show it impacts a very small minority of the data set.
It does indeed.
Because once again, we're weighing the amazing impact of COVID-19 on our population, not just children. And remember this, brother, we talk about it from the context of children all the time because that's where a lot of the conversation is. That's where a lot of the news is following, the mask mandates, etc. But the reality is none of these children exist in a silo. They all go home to somebody. They go home to parents. They go home to grandparents. Sometimes they go home to siblings that already have compromised immune systems, perhaps, right? So they live in a larger context is my point. And when you look at the actual weight of the potential of COVID infection, you have to say the very small weight of the unproven potential of tooth decay somewhere down the road is a small weight, brother.
Right.
I disagree.
Massive weight.
I disagree, he says.
No,
I disagree.
Tooth decay
Dr.
in
Teeth
oral
doesn't
health
like
is one
it.
of the most
Dr.
important
Teeth does.
It's
Dr.
not
Teeth is
proven,
triggered.
brother. Listen, honey
not
buns
proven,
lead to tooth decay more so than what you're talking about.
Honey buns, bro. Yeah.
It's
dude.
not proven because we don't have the data.
Shaka,
Honey
bro.
buns are proven.
Data doesn't mean it's not something that we should consider. I mean, now we're talking.
They are a proven
All right.
commodity.
Let me move.
They
we also
are.
don't have good data on the effect of the mask mandates. We have incredible data on how effective
It's
masks
fucking
are.
crazy, dude.
But if you put the mask mandates at the school level, what if the kids all hang out with each other after they go to school? You can't mandate the mask at school. So I can't even really create a cost-benefit analysis of how many lives we're saving. We're basically swimming through this with just an
How many lives we're saving due to severe gingivitis that might be caused from wearing a mask? Like, what the fuck? How many people in the world are gonna develop severe tooth decay or gingivitis from wearing a mask, exactly that cause, to even cause death. Like, I mean, gingivitis maybe in the most severe cases. I don't even know. Can gingivitis kill people? Holy shit, maybe. It's about as common probably as a fucking vending machine falling on you. What the fuck is happening here? And this is the argument he's making. Like, holy shit, dude. I'm assuming the fucking vaccines have saved a lot more people than, like, the potential one fucking weird-ass person somewhere that somehow fucking who wore a mask for 200 years and fucking rose from the fucking ashes with goddamn fucking yuck mouth syndrome and died somehow. Like, goddamn, it would take someone to live probably past a lifespan and wear the mask their entire fucking life. It's ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous.
Incredible lack of data, which is one of the major points I want to
make.
He isn't a critic. Data. We need to start randomly testing.
There's a reason why there's no data.
COVID.
There's a reason why there's no data on this, because it's not that fucking important. Eventually, someone somewhere another Dr. Teeth will do some data on it. And it's gonna show that it's like very minor over a course of time, and it's negligible. It's not worth the time and effort of most people. And this guy apparently it's not. But holy fuck.
And for antibodies and for infections all across the country. I don't know why we haven't done that. Greenland's done it, and they have incredible data because of it.
Incredible data.
I mean, without a whole bunch of data on either side, I feel like
he probably found some
like blind, and that's probably why so many people died from COVID.
Oh man, one fucking.
What else does Greenland do?
Yes, what else does Greenland do? Let's hear it.
They probably mandate vaccines.
So it doesn't matter. It's all a faux pas. It's all a faux pas. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean,
Catch-22. It's all a sham.
But the issue, I mean, you talk about logistics. We have the vaccine more readily available to us in America. We can go to a CVS and get the vaccine than they do in Greenland. Some people have to travel miles, a lot of miles, in order to get access to a place that will distribute the vaccine. So it's an issue of psychology and education for Greenland. And they came together. They came together on this, and they have utilized common sense protocols, mask wearing, social distancing, taking the vaccination when it was available. You got people.
They took it serious, way more than Dr.
So
Teeth.
you're dealing with a completely different psychological dynamic than in the United States of America.
I might skip if they change topics. I can't remember if they do or not.
Common sense protocols, and
we'll probably change to another video just to keep it fluid. I got plenty of material to go through here.
Greenland has not only done it; they've collected the data and it's readily available. You just cited it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Greenland's been incredibly proactive this entire pandemic.
Yes. Yes.
But if America was that proactive, would you be in agreement with what Greenland did?
Yes, because if he considers their proactivity correct, then our proactivity would be, you know what I mean? Like, come on, he's getting caught up.
I have to look at specifically.
Getting caught up.
I haven't specifically looked at their vaccine mandates. I assume just because of
Dr. Rashad's so good at staying smooth and calm and like getting it going. You know what I mean?
Really evaluated their specific policy.
I'm too livid. I'm too livid and lit.
So among everything they've done, the only thing that I probably oppose.
I can debate, but it would take like a lot of calm solace. You know what I mean?
The ability for pharmaceutical
but then again, it's not, you know, it's not worth getting hyped about.
Greenland is much less because Greenland is
as far as tooth decay with wearing a mask.
In Greenland are from us, right? So, I mean, the vaccine mandate is something that's really, it's really centered on American policy, and everyone else is really going to be following it. And the pharmaceutical companies, if you allow them to move forward with mandating vaccines that don't get us to herd immunity after 100% of the population has taken it, what else can they mandate? All
right, so now, brother, you just made the first point I made to you. You made it back to me. You know what point that is?
Inform me.
That's right. And also, huh?
No, I said inform me. What's the point?
He was expecting him to say something else. That's funny.
Leads in COVID vaccination, herd immunity happens in this country. It leads other nations.
That's kind of funny,
to the
though.
Same conclusion because America has done this routinely with other vaccines.
Yes, but that's with diseases where if you take the vaccine, you, for all intents and purposes, have a 100% resistance to the vaccine. Take something like polio or measles. Measles is incredibly infective. There's about.
I don't want to hear this anymore. He's just kind of going a circular argument at this point. Well, let's move on. This next one's great.